Welcome everyone to the Tonkin Legal Group, home of the Australian Family Law Podcast, the AFLP. Definitely not the official podcast of the Australian Football League. It is I, as always, your host Joe, joined of course by St John. How are you, St John?
I'm well, thank you, Joe. Yes, fighting fit.
Fighting, not fit, but definitely fighting. And Charlie, how are you, my friend?
Very well, thanks, Joe. Good to be here. Good to be back.
You had a nice you had an adventure on the weekend that went by.
I did, yep, up on the Gold Coast with a group of friends. So a few of us did the Gold Coast 10-kilometre portion of the marathon. Definitely did not do the marathon. Would not have survived that. And yeah, got to see some footy as well. Went to People First Stadium to see the Gold Coast Pies game. Which was good. Saw my friend Christian Petraka up close, which was good to reunite with Christian. So that was fun. But yeah,
I heard you had a nice conversation with Christian over the fence.
It was very very civil, and we settled the differences, and I think both parties can walk away satisfied that it was an amicable end to to our relationship as ex-supporter and D's player in Petraka. So, yeah, good outcome.
Quite apart from your little outburst in the outer, you were there firsthand to witness Mr. Maynard almost clean up an umpire.
Yeah, I was.
It was just before an end of a quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was before half time, right before the halftime huddle. So because originally it started after Bailey Humphrey kicked the goal and then went up to Maynard, and then all of a sudden Maynard was on the ground and it was a melee. But what we didn't see, which you would have seen on the TV, was when Ben Long actually did the hit on Maynard from behind, and that obviously then triggered the all-in melee where Maynard decided to run towards an umpire, and that was when the whole umpire contact situation erupted. So yeah, very very interesting to see that live in the flesh.
I mean, the umpire is sacrosanct in any competition, really, and they're just off limits. I just don't know why this bloke hasn't been reported. I really don't.
Yeah.
A $5,000 fine, was it, Joe?
Yeah. Altogether, when you factor in the melee that he was involved in as well, would be 8,000 all up for Braden Maynard, which is absolute penny change for an Australian Football League player at the highest level, playing for a big club like Collingwood. That is absolutely not justifying the crime. It just did not make any sense. People have been punished for a lot less. And this guy, what he's done is, as you say, St John, it just flies in the face of common sense. And people are saying, oh, it was an accident, he wasn't trying to get to him. Charlie, you said this off air. The umpire's wearing fluoro green. It's hard it's hard to miss the bloke. I know you are maybe seeing red everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, he is in fact wearing fluoro green, and you can't be getting through someone like him. Imagine if it was Toby Green who did that.
Oh, exactly. Or Diesel Williams, who got 9 weeks for a little elbow.
Yeah.
Look, Maynard's already ruined one AFL footballer's career, and maybe he's trying to ruin that umpire's career. He's nothing but a thug, and he got away with it again. And why? Because he plays for Collingwood. Honestly.
Yeah, it's baffling.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But as we saw on the weekend in footy, scuffles happen and emotions boil over, but there are some lines still, regardless of how you're feeling in the moment, that you simply should not and cannot cross. The same applies in the family law jurisdiction, and this is where we were trying to go with. There is some separation, we understand. It can be obviously very stressful, emotional, financially confronting, but there are still boundaries that matter. and we're going to go through some of those today. That some lines in family law that you really should not cross the same way as you should not be touching an AFL umpire.
It's a minefield, really, because in any family law matter, emotions are running raw and very high, especially if there's been infidelity or a child's been abused or neglected. It just pushes everyone's emotional buttons, and sometimes the only way of dealing with that is to get angry and to lash out at your former partner. But boy, oh boy, can it come back to haunt you? I mean, the first thing that springs to mind is they'll have an intervention order against you in 5 minutes. They're handed out like lollies. Not that I'm suggesting intervention orders aren't used for the appropriate purposes, but the general view is that magistrates will give you an order without the other party present and with very little evidence, because they don't want blood on their hands. So the key is to, where possible, keep your cool. Don't exhibit family violence with your former partner. And if there has been something transgressed or a law has been broken, in the words of Jacinda Allen, report that to the police. And do it in the appropriate format. I'm sorry, I'm just a bit sick of Jacinda Allen continually saying, oh, if there's been any illegalities, report that to the police. Anyway, I digress. So an intervention order is the flavour of the month. There aren't too many matters that we deal with that don't have an intervention order. Whether they're warranted in most of those cases is another issue. But obviously safety first and ask questions later.
Yeah, and I guess it's, we've probably spoken about this in previous podcasts, but assume that every piece of correspondence or text message or comment that you make is going to be used at a later date in, if your matter proceeds to court, whether that be by way of evidence in the form of an affidavit. So any email, any text message or even a photo can be annexed to an affidavit. So, I guess the court and the judge, they're always watching, similar to footy when the cameras are always on, and there's always angles where the cameras are watching and they'll catch out an offence, similar to Mr. Maynard and Tuke Miller, even though there was no punishment dished out, which is absolutely baffling. But yeah, I guess that's the context. Just always assume that there's going to be a referee by way of a judge or a court that's going to review that piece of correspondence. So never let the emotion get the better of you, like you were suggesting, St. John.
It just goes without saying that our system rests on evidence. So the person who can come up with the most damning evidence is going to be one step ahead. So don't give them the satisfaction of playing into their hands by providing them with any written or photographic or verbal or oral or evidence that they can use against you. The secret is to just play, unlike Mr. Maynard, play within the rules and don't cross the line.
Absolutely, because even if you have, final parenting orders in place, don't think you're home and hose scot-free and you can do what you want. There are a lot of times we're seeing more of these intervention orders coming out where they are suspending these orders. There is an ability for magistrates to suspend final parenting orders in instances where there is new allegations of family violence. So you might have thought you managed to get through, and congratulations on reaching a settlement. But the idea is, the whole point of finalizing your parenting arrangements is so that you can have a co-parenting arrangement. It's so that you and your significant other, or your ex, should I say, the parents of these children or child are supposed to be working together as agreed, pursuant to these orders, in order to get really a suitable future for these children and what's in their best interests. And don't lash out. Don't try to continue to push each other's buttons and bring up old wounds and bring up old things which caused the end to the relationship. The point of reaching an agreement in relation to parenting is that you can move forward and not look back in the past.
And even on the flip side, positive. Yeah. Oh, sorry, St. John.
Sorry, it's extremely hard to control your emotions. And you saw Mr. Maynard on the weekend. And if you read his article in the paper today, he said, I knew who did it, and I had to get my revenge as soon as possible. Now,
Big tough guy.
imagine if we ran life like that. Oh, someone bumps into you. Oh, I'm going to get my revenge straight away. So it's similar in any relationship breakdown. You're going to be emotionally stressed,
Yeah.
and the best way to deal with it is to not lose your control like some people do on the football field. Now, I'm not suggesting what Ben Long did was appropriate, but revenge is not the solution. And certainly in family law matters, if you're seeking revenge, it will bite you on the bum eventually. I remember saying to other practitioners that every time you write a letter to your former partner, assume that that's going to be read by a judge. So do you want a judge to hear you lashing out at your partner and being aggressive and abusive towards them? Psychologically, that's going to have an impact on the outcome of your case. So, as you said, Charlie, it's evidence. It's evidence-based, our system, and the person who can collect the most dirt is going to most likely get ahead.
And even on the flip side, any positive communications or messages can actually work in your favour. So if you're making comments or any positive communications or emails or texts that are actually supportive of the other parent, it might support your position that you can maintain a positive co-parenting relationship, which might work into your hands to support an increase in time, provided that it's in the best interest of the children. So it can go both ways. Both negative, disparaging communication can have a really bad effect, and then on the flip side, positive communication can actually have a beneficial outcome if you're seeking to increase the children's time with you, again, if it's in their best interest.
Yeah, I agree. And look, you're reacting normally, generally, to an abnormal set of circumstances. So if you feel you're losing control in the separation process, then ask an expert for assistance. There are anger management courses. There are ways and means of controlling your anger, which ultimately will create a better outcome for you and your family. Sorry, Joe, I cut you off.
No, not at all. Not at all. It also extends to lashing out to, the other party, not necessarily in a direct sort of way, but you can do so indirectly through trying to defeat, for example, a claim of theirs in a property matter, and you might be trying to start transferring things out of your name into siblings' names or friends' names to keep things hidden as best you can, because they've decided that they're going to play hardball, for example, or they're not coming to the table in a specific way, and you want to try and retaliate by being sneaky, I guess, from a financial perspective. There is an ongoing duty of disclosure, and this type of behavior, whilst you might think you're being clever in the instance because I'll show them, but unfortunately, it all comes to light. And that sort of behavior is certainly frowned upon, it's looked down upon, and you are more than likely in those circumstances going to be finding yourself on the wrong side of an order. And a bit like Maynard and Tuke Miller and a bunch of others, 17 fines, 17 instances of people having to pay money, you could end up having costs against you in that circumstance as well.
So you're a creature of your reaction, aren't you? And for every action, there is a reaction. So you just need to be careful. And it's a tightrope, and we all know as family lawyers, it's a minefield, and it is really tough. It really is. It's so much tougher than playing football. But in the same vein, the umpire is sacrosanct on the football field, and the judge is sacrosanct in a family law matter. So you break the rules, you stretch the rules, you transgress the rules. Psychologically, I think you're going to be behind the 8 ball with respect to the judge.
And you don't want to make the other party's case for them. Don't make it easy for them to present the argument against you, whether it's for for parenting or property matters, because
Yeah.
if you are disparaging and hostile in your communications, then you're only making the other side's job easier. So just it's one thing to be mindful of.
Yeah, exactly right. Because in family law, if you cross the line, it can certainly cost you more than a free kick against you on the football field. So whatever consequence, whatever ties and links that we're making between, the footy on the weekend and your personal family law matter, it's only reflective. It doesn't actually measure weight for weight in pound for pound. What the situation that you're going through in your family law matter is so much more significant and so much more important than what happens on a football field. So this is not to obviously make things more trivial or to speak about in a less lighter sense, but it's more so just to get you guys to understand roughly from a footballing perspective just how serious it is on the field not to do something. Well, you can imagine how much more serious it would be in a family law matter. So we're just trying to demystify family law for you to make it as clear as possible.
And I think while judges are meant to be impartial, like umpires, no one's a robot. We're humans. So if you rile the umpire, you're going to get a 50-metre penalty. You rile the judge, well, you're going to get the equivalent of a 50-metre penalty, but it might mean that the time you spend with your children is less, or the final outcome in your property settlement is less, purely because the judge has taken a subconscious view that may impact on their reasoning. So where possible, play within the rules, whether that be on the footy field or in any family law matter. And we're happy to assist with the rules and to set out how best to place yourself in any family law matter. But a lot of it is common sense, but we all realise that we're asking people to have common sense in a time and a moment in time where everything is out of control, and that's due to a separation. So we don't for 1 minute suggest that it's easy to control your reactions, but there are ways and means of making it easier and creating a better outcome for yourselves.
Isn't that right, Charlie? And Christian, the big baby.
Big baby, yeah. Still absolutely puzzled by the fact that they got off from touching the umpire. I mean, I think we've always been told that any kind of contact with the umpire is an automatic suspension. So I'm absolutely puzzled by that decision.
Well, what sort of message does it send to under 12s?
Exactly. Yeah, there's a shortage of umpires already.
Is there any message that comes from that melee / rampaging run at the umpire that's positive?
No,
I mean, we all know it's magnified at the lower levels because they look up to these men that behave in this way. I couldn't. I mean, take some time to read the Herald Sun today about what Maynard said. The comments are unbelievable.
I think I heard the interview, and it's pretty much the fact that he got off. It's just condoning going out and seeking revenge for something that happened, and clearly what Ben Long did was stupid, and he deserved his suspension. But it doesn't mean
that's a common assault. Yeah, nothing short.
Yeah, absolutely.
What Ben Long did, but it's I don't know. I can't believe the AFL. They have an opportunity. I mean, they're sending $20,000 fines to the Gold Coast for inadvertently bumping into umpires. This wasn't inadvertent.
No, not at all.
This was deliberate.
Yeah,
just trying to bring up the article.
To me, that there's a disconnect between, I don't know, because even you look at all the commentary at the time when the melee was breaking out. It's illegal, right? You're not supposed to have melees, hence why everyone was getting fines left and right. And the AFL wants to maintain that this is not a good thing. But all of the commentary around the melee was, wow, look, they're all going in at it. Look at it. It's sort of being, it's almost being shed in a positive light that, oh my God, look at that. This is, that was a great melee. Oh, we haven't had a melee like in a long time. Like, you might not be openly coming out and condoning it, but you certainly are I feel like you're putting a positive spin to it, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's even like when Hardwick after the game was saying, it's part of the game. Boys will be boys. It's like,
Oh.
well, it's not really the message you want to be sending, is it?
You got anything there for St.
And
John?
if
Look,
the
you have something to
AFL
say there,
wants
St. John.
the system to reflect, if the AFL wants the game to reflect society, then it ain't working. Now they have sanitised the game to a great extent, but yeah, this is a blight and it needs to be dealt with. I can't believe the AFL hasn't stepped in.
Agreed.
Yeah, fully agree. Yeah.
Well, on that positive note, if you guys enjoyed what you had to hear from us today, please make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to not miss out on any of the episodes that we are regularly pumping out on a weekly basis. And if you are listening to us on Spotify, please rate us 5 stars. It certainly helps with our outreach. It's a little thing for you, but it's a really big thing for us. And it's free. Free is good. We can certainly help to spread our insights and to help demystify family law for the general masses. As always, St. John and Charlie, it's a massive thanks to both of you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, guys. Go D's.
See you next week. Bye.
See you guys.